Hey everybody, I hope you are well. I think it was kind of nasty out there in some places today. I had a bunch of events canceled this morning. It wasn't too bad here, but I hope you were able to stay off any messy roads wherever they were. In Hartford, we are closing in on the first big deadline for committees, which is, for my committee, is on the 19th, and most other committees are either February 18th or 19th, and that's the deadline by which we have to what are called raising concepts, which are the bills that committees raise themselves. We have to have had meetings to raise those concepts by then, or to take proposed bills, which are proposals from other legislators or groups of legislators, and reserve them for a hearing of some kind, or put them in motion. So we have our final such committee meeting, in other words, the one concept raising or bill raising meeting next Tuesday, the 18th, and so I'm sort of working on that agenda and going back and forth with a lot of other committee chairs as sometimes bills get reassigned between committees, as sometimes bills arguably could be in one committee or another, and they get assigned initially to one committee by our nonpartisan office, and that committee might decide that it's actually better off in another committee, and so they get bounced around, and we're all kind of talking to each other, figuring out how that deadline works. And I had one from another committee that the chair wanted me to raise it, but it was too late to refer it to us to get a hearing in time. So if she wants to have a hearing on it, she's got to do it in her own committee. So lots of procedural calls like that going on as we get ready for that. And we're doing a forum in the Finance Committee on the guardrails next week too. So on the same day, we'll have a big day on Tuesday. Earlier today, I was in Cornwall for the very fun awarding of the Democracy Cup to Cornwall. That is something the Secretary of State awards to, there are different categories: cities, large towns, medium towns, and small towns. Of course, we all, in the 64th District, they're all small towns. And it's an award for the highest voter turnout. And in Cornwall, it was over 90%, 90.5% about, which is actually a little low for Cornwall in the last election, but nonetheless enough to take the victory. And so it was really nice to be there with all the poll workers and everybody who made that possible, and have a little conversation about what democracy means. And First Selectman Gordon Ridgway talked about, Cornwall's history, in which at its founding, nearly really all the men in Cornwall served in the Revolutionary War. They voted many times a year, and they were really part of a representative democracy that wasn't always the case in a lot of other towns. And this was in the early days of the country, pre the United States, and a proud tradition of what it means to participate in and defend democracy. So it's a good moment for me to sort of point out that we need to defend democracy right now, both in Cornwall, in Hartford, and in Washington. And we got to think a little bit about what that means, what it means to us to defend it, and make sure that we have a government that represents us and that is adhering to the Constitution and the laws that are laws that have been passed over many years. And on that note, I just wanted to note, a little piece of news that comes from New York, actually. So as many of you know, I worked for the federal government. I was a federal prosecutor in New York for a bunch of years. And the Southern District of New York, where I worked, was somewhat jocularly known as the Sovereign District, because we were very clear that we wanted nothing to do with pushback from Washington. We were a little arrogant about that we thought we knew we were doing, and truth is we were far less political than sometimes the Washington office was. And we were very proud of that reputation of pushing back against. We didn't even like it when they came and did press conferences on our turf. And today there was news there. The interim U.S. attorney for the Southern District, who is a credentialed conservative, longtime member of the Federalist Society, resigned rather than dismiss a case for explicitly political reasons. And I just wanted to take that moment and say that that's a proud moment of what it means to stand up for democracy and the independence of, the rule of law, and that it applies to everybody. And a bunch of other people resigned too from the Public Integrity Unit because they didn't believe that what they were being asked to do served public integrity. So I take that as a model, and I'm keeping that in mind as we watch what is unfurling. So hope you have a happy Valentine's Day and a good long weekend, and I'll see you next week.